Hey guys, let me refresh my screen here, make sure we're live and in working order, because we all love technology. Let's see here. It's waiting. All right, it's weird, I see myself, so we're good to go. Hey, I'm Kevin. Welcome to Relax and Learn Guitar. Thanks so much for tuning back in tonight. This is the second workshop that we're doing live, and I want to just tell folks I really appreciate the time you take to watch the lessons and tune in, and I really appreciate the comments that you leave, the questions you're leaving. It's just awesome to interact with folks and talk with folks who love to play guitar too, so thanks for that. In case you're new around here, Relax and Learn Guitar, I created this for folks who I call second halfers. Not that I'm calling anyone old, but the folks that are involved in the membership are in that age range of, kind of 50 and up kind of thing. So mostly adults, and then they want to learn how to play guitar or love playing guitar, just need a little more support. So I provide that for folks. The lesson tonight is actually, it's kind of building off the last lesson. So last time we were together, we talked about the importance of playing in rhythm, and playing in time. Tonight, we're talking about changing chords smoothly. So the rhythm and playing in time is probably something I consider like the most important part of playing guitar. And this changing chords smoothly is kind of what I consider one of the more difficult things to do, or be able to do. I just told us that Lou is tuned in, so Lou from the membership, thanks for watching. Looks like there's 7, 8, 9 people or so. So getting a little more coming in. So again, thanks for joining me tonight. This workshop is going to be on changing chords smoothly, and it's kind of a second part of our lesson from last time where we were learning about rhythm and timing. Tonight we're going to learn how to change those chords in time. And hello out to Bill, so thanks for tuning in tonight. So one of the things that's probably that lots of folks have trouble with is changing chords smoothly, and it really doesn't matter if, hey Bill, doesn't matter if you are new or old, you've been playing guitar for lots and lots of years, or you're brand new at it. It's something that even I have trouble with, depending on what chords I'm working on in either a song or a project. We can all use help to practice and learn and get these chord changes down smoother. So I'm going to go through a couple of tips and just talk through what I consider to be a good way to practice and learn how to do this so that you can change those chords smoothly and feel good about it. So number one is you're going to choose a couple of chords that you know down cold. And what I mean by down cold is you can play those chords. We're going to stick to, for this lesson, we're going to work on a D. So if you haven't yet, grab your guitars. We're going to play a D chord, a D open chord, and a B minor bar chord. And I can hear you groaning about the bar chords. So, but it is a very important skill to learn how to switch between those two. And the thing with these, you want to be able to play them to the point where you can play the D chord and actually let go, shake your hand a little bit, and come right back to that chord. Shake it out. So when I say down cold, that's what I mean. Learning how to play a certain chord is a whole nother lesson. So that's something you need to have kind of down and under your belt before you work on changing those chords, but between the two. And when you got those chords that you're playing, you want to pay attention to how they feel under your fingertips, and like that D chord, and then how they look as well. So I know like my D chord, I think of it as like a backwards D, kind of a triangle when you look at it. And that's kind of the shape I know in my brain I'm going to be seeing when I play a D chord. The B minor chord, I know it's a bar chord, so I'm going to see, my index finger barring across a fret. and it looks like an E. So you have like the E-shaped chord underneath that bar, and it's moved down, you know, a string or set of strings. But I know that's what my B minor kind of looks and feels like. So I'm able to play that chord and play it down cold. Once you've got that, I tell folks to relax, as far as the relax and learn guitar. So let's see, this is Jim. Oh, hey Jim, thanks for tuning in. So tip number 2 with changing these chords is to remember to breathe, to you know, sit with your kind of relaxed. Guitar shouldn't be stressful. It should be something you dread. It should be something you look forward to doing each day, and a way to relax. So that's kind of a big tip. You know, don't stress out and freak out about changing these chords smoothly. You'll get there. So number 3 is to practice daily. And you know, folks in the membership will say that sometimes. They'll be like, "Is there any way to do this other than practice it every day?" Because I probably say that too much. But I can't stress it enough. Practice is different than playing. I tell folks to practice about 5 minutes a day. So when you're practicing chords and changing them, that's a 5-minute kind of practice session where you're working on these little tips we're working on tonight, for example. And you also want to play every day, which is playing those songs that you love, those chords that you love. And then you want to get to a point where if you don't play the guitar, you feel weird about it. Like it's wrong that you didn't play guitar that day. That's when you know you're in a routine, and then you're like, I need to go grab my guitar and work on this. The number 4 part of these tips is we've got that B minor chord and that D. You're going to switch between them. You're going to play that D chord, strum it, and then I want you to pick the strings individually, and then strum again, then switch to the B minor, strum, pick them individually, strum again, because you want to train your ears to hear that group of notes as that chord, and then be able to pick out the individual notes in that chord. So strum, pick, strum, strum, pick, strum. And the next thing I want to say is that I want you to use the force. Use the force, Luke. You're going to do this with your eyes closed. And I know you're going to be like, what? But it's actually very helpful. You're going to close your eyes. You're going to strum that D chord. Pick the individual strings. Strum again. Switch to the B minor. Strum. Pick. And strum. Now when you can play the chords down cold, you can keep your eyes closed, strum a chord, let go and move your hand around a little bit and go right back to it. That's when you know you're using the force. And you may not think you'll get there, but if you stick with it, you can. And what that's doing and why that helps with the chord changes is you're anticipating what the chord's going to sound like when you move to it. When I play that, I hear that progression in my head. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And you're going to get to the point where strumming and picking is what builds that or burns that into your brain, really. So bore your neighbors, annoy your wife, play those chords over and over. And that's a good way to kind of get started on doing this very smoothly in the future. So after you've got those down, you've used the force, the other thing I tell folks to do is to use a timer. And kind of the same concept as a metronome, which is a tool we can use to help us. You want to grab your phone or your tablet, you can use your computer, ever how you want to set a timer for 60 seconds. So it's kind of like the 60-second exercise. Very creative title. You want to play a chord each second, or you work up to playing a chord each second. So you've got a timer going. You play the D chord, the B chord, B minor, D, B minor. You want to work up to where you can play that chord, you know, each second. So we were doing kind of that fast, and it's not going to sound like that at first. It might sound like this. And that's totally fine, because it's also important to play the chords you're learning to change smoothly, correctly. So I might kind of be going very, very much in detail, but I want folks to learn this stuff really well, not really fast. So the 60-second timer is something, a little exercise I let folks know about so they can kind of practice that piece. Then another thing I tell folks is that's going to get boring. That's why you come when we do it for maybe 60 seconds. You also want to change things up a little bit. So what I recommend people do is to play those chords for about 4 beats. And then don't forget to change like the other way. We're going from there where we're doing a lot of D's to B minors. Switch it back up and go from B minor to D. And then again, that's going to kind of get monotonous, so you want to change up your strum pattern a little bit. So you can do things like this. This. Or this. Or this. This is true for any 2 chords. Doesn't have to be the D and the B minor. So depending on where you are as a player and what kind of level you're at, it could be 2 open chords. Kind of like the C to G. That's a good one actually, because you're covering a lot of territory there when you're playing an open C chord and move into the G chord, and vice versa. So it can be any 2 chords you choose. So you're going to have chords that you're most familiar with, and you've got them down cold. And then I do recommend also practicing what we're doing tonight, that kind of bar chord to open chord switch, especially the dreaded F chord. Bar chords are hard for me, Jim says. Dude, bar chords are hard for everyone. I don't know how long you've been playing or not. You can, if you want to let me know. But yeah, bar chords can be a bear. Are they absolutely necessary to play and sound good on a guitar? I argue a little bit with folks that I do think they're necessary to learn, just because it opens up so much more stuff you can do. You can certainly get by. Yeah, so playing for that amount of time, there's probably ways you've learned to work around playing those bar chords. Or maybe you can, like let's take an F chord for example. Jim, you've got an F chord, you can let up a little bit, don't play the bar all the way across the first fret. Just kind of play your index finger on those first and second strings down on that first fret. And just play from the 5th string down. Same sound. No difference in the sound. And that one's a little easier for folks to play that way. Checking this out. So we got Nick. Thanks, Nick, for checking it out. And I don't know if he's talking to Jim about that or not, but it'd be cool if there's folks that are knowing each other tuning in. So thanks for tuning in. If you came in late, don't worry about it. You can definitely check out the replay of the workshop. it'll stay in the on the Facebook page. So if you haven't yet, certainly click the notification button on the Relax Learn Guitar Facebook page, because then you'll get a little pop-up notification whenever I do a live workshop. And these have been actually pretty successful. We've had a fair amount of people that have watched live and then also asked questions afterwards. So I do think I want to keep kind of doing this for you guys, because it seems to be a good way to answer people's questions and cover a lot of ground. So we were talking about the F chord. So yeah, bar chords can be a bear for a lot of folks. It is really just I don't know, one day you're going to play them. If you practice them on a regular basis, I swear to you, something's going to click in the brain and you're going to be like, yes, I got it. Like, I never thought I'd be able to do those things, but eventually they'll kick in and you'll be able to do that. So I do encourage folks to kind of pick a bar chord here and there to change to an open chord when you're doing these chord changing exercises. So you want to, strum them and pick them, whatever they might be. And another tip that I tell folks is to choose a song that has the chords that you're working on in it, that you like. And this B minor chord actually it comes into the key of D. So a lot of chords you'll play with a B minor, a lot of times it's going to be a D, G's, A's. And actually that comes into Bryan Adams' song, The Summer of '69. The chorus of that moves in this chord progression. A B minor to an A, D, G. So if you choose a song you like, you're going to learn these things in a context and you're more likely to remember them. So got a few more people popping in here. And the reason I tell folks to do that is you're more likely to remember it. And in that example, in that Summer of '69 chorus, you're going to go from a B minor bar chord to that A. So let's say that's where you get the most trouble. That's what you're going to kind of stick to and repeat over and over. What I also tell folks, especially with a B minor to an A, and I mostly play all my A's with this Minibar version here. I tell folks in the membership to do this as well. So you'll hear that a lot from folks. I'm sure Bill's probably heard it already. If you're playing it with a Minibar and you're just using your index finger to bar over the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings, it looks easy, but I have a ways to go. Yeah, Ron, that's okay. Lots of stuff can look easy, but if you stick with it, stay with it is what I kind of tell folks. Don't give up on them. And thanks for tuning in, by the way. So, if you're playing that context of that chorus, this Summer of '69 song, it's a lot easier to go from a B minor chord to an A if you're barring that A instead of this. And that's kind of why I do have kind of big fingers, so I play most of the time when I play an A chord, it's this kind of mini bar feature. And then again on that chorus, you have you got to move from a G to a B minor. So let's say the B minor is kind of what you really want to hone in and do well with. Then you would practice that G to the B minors. Chords change same ways. And then and that might be one that you choose to do like your 60-second exercise with. So you want to try and get to the point where you're playing that about that fast. And then also the use the force trick, the eyes closed. So Ron, like people say it looks easy and he can do that with his eyes closed. I want you to actually try it. That's your homework. You're going to take a chord that you know really well, and you're going to play that with your eyes closed, strum it, pick it, let go of it, and go right back to it. That helps because it gets to the point where this stuff does become automatic. You could not be looking at the fretboard in your hand. You could be looking at who you're singing to or singing with, or you could be watching TV, or you could be playing with your eyes closed. So those are the main tips I have. So just to kind of summarize for folks who popped in here late, the main parts were to choose 2 chords that you're able to play really well. Pay attention to how they look when you play them and how they feel. And in that feeling part, another thing I tell folks in the membership is to take your ordinary pencil here. And when you're playing your chords, you want to pay attention to how you're using your fingertips. And you want a nice arch, and you want your fingertips to kind of push down into your fretboard. You should be able to take a pencil and hold it there between your fingers and still be able to play those chords. And a lot of times, especially, so this is kind of a bar chord tip for Ron and for Jim. A lot of times, the trouble that we get with those bar chords is our fingers just want to kind of lie down and drift a little bit. And then you get those dead kind of sounds like that. So if you're kind of paying attention to how you're, using your fingertips into the strings and how those chords look, and then start worrying about changing smoothly between them. And when you do learn those down and you're changing in between them, I tell folks to do about 5 minutes a day where they're doing that 60-second exercise, strumming, picking, strumming, and then switching it up. You could take other chords that you're working on, so that was a little thing I was working on the other day. From that E minor chord to this kind of F sharp 7 there, that's what it's called, was one I was having trouble with, so I just play it over and over until you're just literally, it's burned in your brain. So you're also thinking ahead about what chords you're going to change to and what you're going to hear and feel like there. You're going to take those 2 chords that you're working on and strum them. Forward beats. And you're going to kind of also work up to changing up those strum patterns so you don't get bored with them. So that's kind of the gist, and again, you want to have that favorite song in mind. So if you have any questions, you want to pop those in here, because I'm going to kind of start wrapping things up. What time is it? 20? Yeah. We'll wrap up here in a little bit. So if anyone who's watching has any questions, you can pop them in here now, or you can go to relaxandlearnguitar.com and you can contact me there. You can contact me on Facebook, and those will, the contact pages on the website go right to my email. So I do answer every single person who leaves a question or has a comment. So if you have those, please let me know. Or if there's things you're also really struggling with, you're like, hey, would love a workshop on this. Maybe it's bar chords, I don't know. If there's that as well, just go ahead, feel free to let me know what those are. Let's see. Kind of covered that piece. Make sure I got all my notes covered here. And that is kind of the content that I had planned for tonight, so hopefully you liked it and hope it was helpful. The other thing I want folks to know is if you did come in late, you can watch this and you can see it in the feed, so don't freak out. If you miss parts of it, you can go ahead and watch it. So let's see, Lauren. Oh, Let's see, I have to do chord cheating with open chords to get close as I can the actual chord so it sounds close. Oh, okay. Is that what you mean as far as like your chord cheating? For, this is what Lauren said, that he is doing some chord cheating with open chords to get as close as possible to the actual chord. So I think what you mean is that you're kind of playing some open chords to make them sound like a bar chord, that's totally fine. My general rule is if it sounds good, it is good. So if it sounds good and you're finding ways to play open chords that sound in the same tone as those bar chords, there's nothing wrong with that. Bill, my problem with bar chords is usually that the high E string is just dead. Yeah, that is, there's a lot of strength to go into kind of barring that across an entire fret, and then also having enough strength in that last part of your finger to get that, high E, especially when you're playing an F chord. To get that to ring, it does take some strength. So that's why I struggle with smooth changes, but I love to practice. Well, Greg, loving to practice is definitely the first step, so keep it that way. And what I tell folks in these tips, like the 5-minute tip, is doing that does keep it fresh, and you don't want to burn out on practicing. You want it to be something you look forward to. So that's why I say don't freak out about it. Stay relaxed about it and just look at that thing you're having trouble with a little bit at a time and doing like 5 minutes of. Let's see if there's any other comments here. Sorry, I'm like looking at the camera and then back to here, but Bill, Lauren, and we got that, the high E chord. So actually, show of like thumbs up or yeses, maybe a workshop on kind of basic kind of bar chord advice. That's what I'm kind of hearing through the comments tonight. So if that's true, just let me know. Let's see, and again, this is probably one of the hardest things to get down when you're playing guitar, and I don't really care if you're brand new or you've been playing for years. There's going to come times where it's going to be difficult to change between some chords, and you're going to have to kind of stop, slow down, practice them, and use these techniques to kind of get those going. Do the A real quick. The A Minibar, that's what you're calling, I think. So the way I play an A chord is not always kind of the way you'll see it in most books, where you're using your index, middle, and ring fingers to press those strings down. So the A chord is all on the 2nd fret, and it's a 2nd fret for the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd string. Instead of playing that, I just take my index finger and I bar those 3 strings, and I just don't, like Bill earlier was talking about how he plays the bar chord, and the biggest deal is he has a dead E string. I just deaden it on purpose, and when I play my A chord, I'm basically just playing the strings 6 through 2. So here's what the right, there's no real right, but traditional way to play the A. It's nice because you get that E, but you can play the bar chord. You get the same kind of feel. So like earlier, I think it was Jim that was saying had to kind of cheat a little bit to make this chord sound right. That's kind of one of the things I do for my A chord. So I call it the Minibar method, and folks in the membership probably hear me say that a lot when we're talking about issues they're having with that chord. And especially when you're moving from that B minor to the A, it makes it a lot easier to, it's a lot easier to do this than it is this. So, hope that was helpful and that's what you meant. Nice, so I'm guessing that did help, so that's good. So that's the workshop for tonight. I will definitely put out reminders to folks about the future workshops, because there's been a couple more people come on here at the end. The replay will happen in here, and I think, did you say Jim was watching? Or John, maybe?
John.
Okay. Hey, John, if you're still out there. I don't like missing people. So those of you that take the time to watch, I do like to say hello to you. So the other thing I want to let folks know is you can also email at the contact page on the website. Get in touch with me that way if you have other suggestions or questions. And there is a link in tonight's description for this video. As I've been talking a little bit about tonight, All this stuff I do a lot of more in-depth and support for folks in the Relax and Learn Guitar membership, and I'm promoting a little $1 trial. So $1, come in and kick the tires. You can check out the membership. If you join the membership, you will learn how to play guitar. The folks that are in there now, what I'm calling the second halfers, are really enjoying it. It's like, I think, the perfect way to relax. You're gonna, playing music just makes people feel better, makes me feel better. You're gonna save time because you're, comfort of your own home. I mean, for heaven's sakes, you're just kind of, whenever your schedule allows, you can watch the videos and lessons. You can ask me questions and I'll get back to you. And you'll save some money. It's a lot cheaper than doing, lessons in person. And a great way to learn how to play and how to relax. So check out the link in the description tonight if you want to see that and check that out. I very much urge you to do that. And if you haven't signed up on the email list, there's also that. You can just pop in your email on the home page and you'll get regular emails from me with the lessons when I put new ones on the website. And then I also do some articles. Recently did one that had some pretty good traction with folks, or kind of resonated why the acoustic guitar is better than the electric guitar. So if you join the email list, you'll get notices, right away when things like that are happening on the website. So, Lauren, you're welcome. Thank you for watching, Lauren. And then thanks, Ron. I'm glad that it worked out for that A chord for you. And if there are no more questions, I think we'll kind of wrap things up and be on the lookout for the next live workshop. And I'll definitely do, if you're on the email list, I'll send you an email to remind you about them, and also the reminders in the Facebook page. Jim, yes, thanks. All right. We'll see you guys later. Thanks again for tuning in. I hope this was helpful and you learned something, and you can go back and practice it, relax a little bit, and have some fun. That's pretty much what it's all about. So I'll see you guys next time. Take care.